You too. Facebook?
Yeah, send it to me, Facebook. And we'll get what do you want? Over there, so we can play it in.
Is it a PowerPoint? Is this going to be the video thing?
Skype, for Skype.
Oh, for Joanna.
Yeah.
Joanna.
Joanna.
Oh, is that Joanna? It's actually Joanna.
Joanna.
Resh, comments are still disabled for
Give them a
YouTube.
link to the Hangout event.
Give them the Hangout.
They can ask the questions. They are not here. Go here. This link. Give them this link for asking questions.
Okay. They can also watch, right?
Yeah. So if they follow this link here,
Sorry, what?
You can log in as well, right? If you have Skype.
cool. So the second link I sent you. Post.
Is that live?
Yeah. It looks very.
Oh, what?
Wait, what?
What? It's delayed. Oh man, I'm gonna look like a moron now.
It's really delayed. Like 20 seconds or so.
Oh. Okay, Jordan, you want to sign in?
Julie, Joanna doesn't have my Skype. You need me to sign in to get Joanna here. Skype.
Okay, wait. I need that.
And Rish, how can we get this on the projector?
Yeah.
I think it's here somewhere over there. Which is it? Yeah. Can I move this? Is this the one we're replacing?
Yeah, this is going in the back. Sorry, my sister back with it later. Oh, more so not I'm using my laptop, so this is my corner. Someone's stuck here. Got a lot of technical difficulties.
What are you looking for?
The black thing.
Sorry.
Never mind me on I guess not many people here recognize that you've got a cheek problem.
God, it's a small freaking
Wait.
Is it enough? Yeah.
You know how to make your job? Oh, yeah. Everyone was like, ooh, it's out.
I just like it the most funny when you go to the IT company.
Just to plug everything in.
Yeah. This goes here.
Where Windows laptops is like
Getting you a Surface.
Hey, they're beast. Okay.
You know what?
Getting you a Surface Book for free.
You need duplicate, right?
Yeah, FM is one of these.
$2,700 for the base.
And,
Oh, base roll? Is that it? What are you talking about?
So if you are switching over to the laptop, if you want, what do you want from this?
Base roll.
Yeah, I have
Just one three.
Okay, right.
I think I need this. Yeah, this is just like internet. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
we need that.
Okay. I'm guessing that was like sound.
Yeah.
Okay.
You check one.
Let's call Ancha.
Projector, I think it's something this here.
Can we just check? What this? Can we check if it works by calling Ancha? I know because we need to.
Yeah.
Is there something that popped up there for conversation? I just I typed in test questions.
I don't know. I'm fixing the projector for the time being.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Such a delay.
Which was it? What kind of delay this is?
It doesn't matter for watching it.
For the questions that we ask and questions it does.
Hey, John, could you check if it's working now? Even now?
What
The live stream.
live stream's working off it, yeah.
So you can see me now.
No, we haven't seen you in a minute.
Huh?
There's about a minute delay, so I'll see you pop on.
Yeah, it's working now. So this guy will work here? Yeah, on the projector. Okay, also like the volume will test.
Oh,
Do you want Skype to be here like this, right? Because
Much better.
can I go answer real quick to see?
Sure.
Answer. Yeah. She's there though. What? She's there.
Yeah, but to see on that.
Just to see
Oh,
if it's
okay,
working.
okay,
Can you?
okay.
Where did it go?
Yeah.
You can see her. Okay, cool. Whoa.
Okay.
Nothing.
Why is it on here too? Oh.
How don't you? I see you, Sophia. Oh God.
Yeah.
This is the same look as before.
I think.
Was it? Yeah. Yeah.
Why is it? Why can I not see it?
Comment.
Oh yeah, I should do that.
Yes. Perfect.
Yeah.
So, God, it's so stressful. You tell me.
I do.
Yeah?
I do.
You tell me. Yes.
I just posted saying that they can, I'll keep an eye out on the Facebook post as well for some questions because. I'm charging, yes, I do. Okay, I've got the cable, not the left charge. What is what? What's first?
What?
That's good.
Yeah, it says that. People always say I'm on one, but I've got, and I didn't have stuff on my phone. Oh, okay, we'll do that.
Should I hear questions and on the people hang out?
I don't have an extra pen.
I'm sorry. No, people can ask questions on there. I need to be able to see the questions.
All over the world. Thank you.
How did you not look like this? Excuse me.
Georgie, you're the only one that can be seen as recorded in the live stream.
What? Oh man, is that what Sophia's saying? Is that why you guys are all here?
Like, get off your tablet, Georgie.
What's that?
Yeah, I was just seeing how far the delay.
Is it a big delay?
About a 30-second delay between the live stream.
30 seconds.
Yeah.
Yes.
Julie, you just appeared.
Oh, God, I think
Sophia's screen
Oh, wow.
I'm keeping an eye on Facebook and Google Hangouts for questions.
Come up here and say hi. Sophia says hi, Julie. Huh?
Where is it?
Sophia says hi. Hi, Sophia. So there, the delay is 30 seconds. 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Oh, wow.
okay, the challenge is
Just put a chair. Oh, look.
Oh, I know, yeah, you're staying, yeah. You love the.
Oh, wow.
Hey.
So we'll have one quick, huge welcome for everyone with. Okay, I feel like everyone's in You can do better next time in the break. That was the warm up. But welcome everyone to the MCP elections 16-17. I'm happy to see all you guys here, and of course also our virtual delegation online. Today marks a really important day in the history of every MCP and of every entity. And today we're really happy and grateful and humbled that you two decided to stand up for this amazing, most challenging role within the entity. Even PAIs have said in the past that being an MCP is even more challenging than PAI. So kudos for you guys standing up for this position. And I'm also really glad that you guys decided to join us here. For today, I urge you to take your job as being part of the plenary and being here in person very seriously. It's not easy to be standing here and opening up to the plenary and revealing what they're standing up for and what they believe in. So I expect everyone to be very respectful, but also very objective, because we have two candidates from one from this entity and one from overseas. But today, everyone's candidate, and the affiliation that you have in your current role does not matter today, because everyone is just a candidate. So again, really, really happy that you guys decided to stand up and may the best candidate win today. And I wish you the best of luck. And with that being said, I welcome our amazing chair, MCP of 13-14 Rising in New Zealand, Fiona Kennedy.
So I've got 45 minutes. It's not going to take that long. So hi everyone, thank you for having me here today. So yeah, as you know, my name is Fiona and I was the MCP of AIESEC New Zealand in the 13-14 term. I've written down a few notes so that I can remember all the important things I need to tell you. So during my MCP term, 13-14, I was also chair of the Global Information Subcommittee, I chaired conferences, legislation, special events here in New Zealand and also abroad in Indonesia. I did 2 legislative chairings for them. I'm now the president of the Wellington Latin American Spanish Club, so I'm still chairing legislations. And Woverhold for Wellington, I'm now also the head of marketing for a New Zealand-based information management company. So yeah, my gifts with technology just continue on into the present day. But I suppose the important thing to take out of all of that is that this is actually the 6th MCP election that I'll be watching in New Zealand. So I saw 11, 12, 12, 13, 13, 14, 14, 15, and now 16, 17, which is kind of terrifying in a very special way. So as I was saying to these guys before, like this isn't my first time around the rodeo. But if you do have any questions about my ability to chair this, then by all means, like ask me. I'd rather that we put it out in the open. We can have a go with that. Is there anything that you want to ask right now? You'll get a special point during the legislation to say yes or no as well. So we can always just hold that too, which is okay. So yeah, just to run through the objectives of today are obviously to elect a new member committee president for AIESEC in New Zealand. That's the main objective. And your objective being here is to get the right information that you need in order to make an informed decision about that. So the entire MCP election process has been structured for you to do that. So I hope that you've all read the candidates' applications. If you haven't, they are sitting on the desks, and I do request you strongly to have a look at them as often as you can. Just out of respect for the candidates, they put a lot of time and a lot of effort into putting these applications together. Many of you will have been a part of that process as well, so hopefully you've divulged everything that you can to these candidates. So make sure you read the applications. The purpose of them is to get a lot of the base information and that groundwork out of the way, so you don't have to ask those questions during the short amount of time that we have here today. So the election processes that we'll be going through today starts off with the candidates' opening speeches. So today, Joanna will be going first, followed by Stephen. And after each introduction speech, which is designed to give some context and background information to the candidate's platform, you'll be given a short amount of time to ask questions to the candidates. My recommendation is that you use this time individually with the candidates to ask them questions specifically to their application. Okay? Just about the candidate, just about their application. Following that, we have the debate, is that? No, LC rotations. We have LC rotations. So that is the space for you to talk about questions specific to your local committee. So that is the point for you to say, what are the challenges that I have with my local committee, and how competent are each of these candidates to be able to help me to move forward and resolve those issues. Makes sense, right? So we have groupings of, who are my groupings, Julia? We've got 2 clusters.
So Auckland and Waikato, and Otago and Victoria, and then the FC.
Cool. So there's 3 groups. So obviously there'll be a point in time, because there's only 2 candidates, when you won't be in a rotation, and at that point you'll just go out to the other rooms. So we'll go through that in more depth when it comes along, but I'm just going to give you an overview of what's going to happen. So after you've asked all the questions you need to know about your LC, it might be worthwhile getting together with the other LC in your group and just making sure you've got an idea of what it is that you want to ask. Then we'll be moving to the great debate kind of section. And the purpose of this is to understand that AIESEC isn't a bubble, right? It's part of a broader world. So which is actually really easy to forget sometimes. So we're going to be looking at the external environment in which AIESEC operates, which is equally as important as the internal environment. Because your ability to capitalize and maximize on your external environment can have a huge impact on your ability to run a successful AIESEC term. So at this point, you need to understand how well does your MCP understand the external environment, and how are they going to utilize that in their MCP term. Then you've got closing, and you go into deliberation. Yeah, so it sounds pretty simple, but it is, every single piece of this process has a purpose to it. So please make sure that you do use each section for the purpose at which it was designed. So for example, if we're going through the candidate applications and somebody asks me, oh yeah, well what does that mean for Otago? As chair, I'm going to reserve the right to shut down that question, because I need you to ask it in the LCP rotation. This is not the time and place for that. You guys are all pretty smart, I feel, so I feel like you probably get this, right? It's pretty straightforward, and you'll be fine. So that's more or less the process, and yeah, we'll go over it again as we arrive at each section. Some expectations for today, pretty standard. It's all about respect, right? And getting to obtain the objectives that you're here to achieve. So I really ask you to respect your candidates, which I can see you've done by dressing very, very beautifully today. Looking fine, guys, looking very fine. So yeah, and especially respecting these guys and the time and effort they've put into it. Especially we have one candidate who is coming to us from overseas, so it is a lot harder to do this via the internet. So yeah, thank you. So yeah, just have a bit of patience with that and don't make most of it. Yeah, questions, again, I reserve the right to shut down any questions which I believe to be not in line with your AIESEC values or pointed towards some of the candidates. So if you're like, why is it that you like Justin Bieber? Not relevant, and maybe trying to get something out of the candidate we don't want to know. So I'll jot that down. Devices, I believe that Juliet's already talked to you about devices. So that's cell phones, that's tablets, that's laptops. The deal is you are not allowed them, is that correct?
Only for Tunchi with his questions on this application.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah, so if you can please get your cell phones just out of the way, you won't need them during this process.
Other questions there?
Yeah. Questions. It'll be a phone check.
Or they could just do something. Obviously, don't.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good. Yeah, maybe you can just, I don't know, put them face down or not tap around with it when candidates doing the presentations. Yeah. like flop it. Yeah, just out of respect for the candidates. And then there's two more expectations. Sorry, there's a few things to go through. The first one is that as chair, my role here today is to facilitate the process and maintain the integrity of the selection. That's my role. The MCP is the sole interpreter of the compendium. So I had gone through the compendium earlier with Juliet, and this selection process, as far as I can see at this point, is in line with the compendium, pretty much exactly. If you'd like a copy, I can share it with you. It's riveting reading. It is in line, I can assure you. And yeah, it's up to Juliet to determine what we do with that. Yeah, cool. So pro tips for the day. Pro tips for the day. One, what is it that you need to know? What information don't you have from the application? What information don't you have from the presentation? And from any of the sections that you already have access to today? Ask those questions because those are the ones that you need. The objective is who is going to be best candidates to lead AIESEC New Zealand in 16-17. Something super important to know at this point in time is that these guys aren't perfect. They don't know everything. So please don't come into this election with the expectation that one of them does, because they don't. It's really unrealistic and unfair. But just understand that it's all about the potential of the candidate to really make it there. For a lot of you, is this whose first election is this? The MCP? Yeah, first time voting. It's probably going to be all of you. Very good. So a lot of people have asked in the past, what on earth should I look for when I'm voting for the person who's going to run my country? A fair question to ask in any election. And I can usually break it down to three things that I've looked for when I've been recruiting as well. And they come down to team, intensity, and technical. So the first one is team. So how good are you guys at forming a team, at creating a team, at driving a team to achieve something? So team is the first one. Intensity. How hard is this person going to work for me? Because there's no good having a person who's really great at leading a team who's going to be like, cool, I'm just going to chill on the corner the whole time. So how hard are they going to work? How hard are they going to strive to solve problems and tackle challenges? How quick are they going to be on the uptake? How hard are they going to work for this entity? And the last one is technical, because technical can be learned relatively easily. It's the least important of the three things. So that's my advice in terms of what to look for and what to ask for when you're evaluating this process. Because yeah, your team is going to be the most important thing, the most important part of your term. That's not just your MC, it's your LCPs as well, and it's your members. That's your whole entity as your team, and you need to be able to work with that, all of it in its entirety. And intensity, yeah, it's going to be a hard ride. No matter how much you have when you arrive or how much you don't, it's going to be a hard ride. And yeah, technical, you can learn it. Alrighty, so any questions at this point in time about the process, about expectations, anything you guys want to add?
Can we ask follow-up questions if we think the candidate hasn't addressed a question properly? offline?
Yeah, definitely. If you ask a question and you're like, actually, that doesn't answer my question, which happens, yeah, we'll do a follow-up. That's a really good point. I will try to limit the time of your answers to questions if possible, just because the more we can get through, the better. Yeah, really good question. Alrighty, cool. Then we are probably
Great.
yes, sweet. So thank you, candidates. I wish you the best of luck for the rest of the day, and the entity will give you a huge round of applause.
Okay, I have like 5 minutes now to get ready. Can you hear me? Yeah, right? Okay, cool. Oh, yeah, so that. Cool. Then we have like 5 minutes to get ready, and then we'll start at 10:32.
Awesome.
12:32. Yeah? Cool.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Are you ready now already?
Yeah.
Okay, cool, sweet.
Sorry.
Then. Okay. 5 minutes. If one has to go to the bathroom, go now. You have time, and then we can start. So you can gather your thoughts. What do you talk about? So now we have 5 minutes toilet break, and then we'll start. Cool.
I'll post a link in the New Zealand Facebook page. They all want to AIESEC New Zealand, the Facebook AIESEC New Zealand. 1560 group. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Do you want me to put up that on the same page as well or not?
Yeah, nice with the new link.
No, on the event.
They're not really. Is there a copy of your?
I just need to script, just that way. Otherwise, it's actually right here.
Which, how do we do this?
Mute the screen.
Yeah, make this.
Then you just. Mute her screen. Just put on DVD.
There we go. DVD.
Huh? No, this is like an awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
The candidate technically is to like leave the room
Yeah.
and come back and in.
Yeah. So we can share them all.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, shit.
Excuse me. She told me to do it right now. And he's working.
No, I didn't, but like, I know which ones were about. My wasn't right, and there's the ones.
What about like cervical?
Yeah, well, I don't know. Well, I think that's the one, maybe they were over.
I don't think that's too.
Sorry. I just asked. The guy.
We'll voice that real quick, just to do a quick legislative procedure. You're gonna be asking people else, so get ready. All right, so there's a motion to table and eight, that this special general meeting be open and then closed at the announcement of the decision of the MCP elections of 1617, proposed by EMC and seconded by Isaac Northland and Victoria. Opposed to speak? Seconded to speak? Speakers for the motion? Speaks against the motion? No discussion? Objection to that information? Then we can. There's another motion on the table that reads that you want to maintain the elected as chair of these elections, dismissed as its closing, proposed by MC and seconded by Isaac and Pablo. Again. Why can't I? Proposal to speak. Second to speak. Speakers for the motion. Speakers against the motion. No discussion. Objection to by acclamation.
Okay.
Alright, we're legit.
Intro music, so you want to get up?
Join and ready. Stand up, guys.
Oh,
Cheers. I say welcome. Ready? Just make sure our candidate's ready. Ready? Yep, cool. All right, ladies and gentlemen, your first MCP candidate for 1617. Welcome, Jonas, I believe you have a maximum of 10 minutes for your presentation. So as soon as you begin talking, I will begin timing.
So, can you hear me properly?
Yes. I will start up.
Awesome. So, good morning, guys, board, ED, MC, members, and finally all the guests listening or present on the assembly. My name is Joanna Chodorska, and I'm 24 years old. I will start with briefly introducing myself. I come from Poland, and I have graduated from international business 36 hours before stepping on a plane to Cambodia, where I currently live, and I am a proud holder of bachelor's degree. I am passionate about travel, volunteering, and event management. I lived on 3 different continents and worked for AIESEC in 5 different countries, with the most recent positions at MCP PhD of AIESEC in Cambodia. I have an amazing family that fully supports me. I have friends from all over the world. Many of them are my family of choice. And finally, I am an AIESECer who for over 3.5 years gave the heart to this organization. Despite all the difficulties and sudden fire in my building last night at 10 p.m., tonight at 6 a.m. in the hotel, standing here in front of you as a candidate for member committee president of AIESEC in Sweden. I want to tell you the story about the numbers and people that are important for me and influence my life. Let me start with numbers. 1,367 days ago, my AIESEC journey began. I stepped on the plane to Indonesia, and 90 days later, my life had changed. 1,277 days ago, on the local conference, I got to know the AIESEC 2050 vision about engaging 1 million young people. I realized that this number started to define me, and I am one of the numbers that AIESEC can influence. 308 days ago, I was part of the creation of AIESEC 2020, where we promised that we will grow disruptively, be accessible for everyone, and shape our actions around the world issues. 2014 was a year full of changes, with me being selected as LCP communication position, LCP communications, the position least wanted for me, and that made me doubt a lot of times in myself. Those 9 months of my career were full of emotions, tears, arguments, but also full of amazing moments, life influence, and friendship cherished. 2014 brought also a lot of joy, especially with 93 people who were working with me on making International Congress happen. I couldn't imagine that 2015 would be even more challenging, with me being selected as LCP PhD in the entity so different from my own. Last half year was definitely the most challenging moment of my life. Finally, the very last number, 8th January 2016, the day where the next generation of AIESEC in New Zealand will start. And I still really hope to be a part of that. Now, let's move to people who supported me throughout my life and who made me who I am today. I will start with my parents, who put all their efforts in showing me the world, who challenged me and supported me in the decisions I made, even if they didn't understand them. Come on, after all, that's the role of the child, to make parents great, right? My sister, who always proves me that there is a rule in her madness of organizing everything to the second. My teachers during my education, who were my mentors and the ones that I hated. All of them had influence on me, and I learned from each one of them. People I met while traveling that gave me the most awesome stories to share and the things to live for. Finally, AIESEC, especially my team leaders and teammates. The one that were with me during my journey in Indonesia, Poland, Belgium, Taiwan, and now in Cambodia. The ones who are sitting next to me despite the fact that 6 a.m. in the morning on the day off. 3.5 years ago, my amazing roller coaster journey started. And the people I mentioned before and the numbers are the ones that made me to reach to the point I am standing today as a member community president applicant. I am standing in front of you because I believe in AIESEC New Zealand. I want to be the part of the movement for New Zealand. The core of my plan is continuity. I want to build on the foundation set by 1516 term. I am very proud to stand in front of the group of people who made some incredible changes and regulations on which the next generation will be able to build. I have based my strategies on 3 pillars. First of them is growth. I still think that New Zealand needs 2 or 3 years of sustainable growth in order to do the exponential jump. Collaboration. I still think New Zealand needs to start growing as a whole. I want to focus on LC2LC collaboration within the entity and country-to-country partnerships. Purpose. There is no point of going the same road if you don't have the clarity of purpose. I want AIESECers to live the AIESEC way across the country. That comes to the final message of the branding GCPs for AIESEC in New Zealand. I don't want them to be good case practices. I want it to be the shortcut of growth, operation, and purpose for the term 1670. My name is Joanna Chodorska, and I'm candidate for member committee person 1617 of AIESEC New Zealand. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. So now we have 10 minutes of question and answer time. So how this will work is that if you guys just put your hands up, and I will create a list, and then we will go through that list. And I'll preference people who haven't yet asked a question if you move to a question.
Joanna asked if she could, if we could type the questions.
Yeah. Or alternatively, can I get people who are going to ask questions to approach the microphone? Because that will be faster. Yeah.
So Joanna, you're going to type. I'm going to type.
Yes. Would you like to start?
Okay, well, this kind of addresses your application and also kind of what you just said. Oh, shit.
Okay. I'll start the timer when you start.
So in your speech and in your application, you said that it will take 2 to 3 years for New Zealand in order to reach exponential growth. So why do you think New Zealand is incapable of exponential growth right now, and why will it specifically take 2 to 3 years to get there?
Ask if she heard it.
Can you hear us?
Can you hear us?
Why are we incapable currently, and why will it take 2 to 3 years?
You can take as long as you like to think, but you only have 10 minutes total for the question time.
Jordan, do you want to just repeat what?
Okay, we need to make the process a little linear, so have your questions ready.
Yeah.
Please stop.
Yeah, if you can bring the questions to as soon as this one's finished, I can type it up while she's answering that question.
Yeah.
Clear?
Oh, wait, do I have a microphone? Yeah, okay, so I would like to say that, in my opinion, AIESEC New Zealand for now needs to focus on the holistic growth, that will include the all LCs, since we are basing most of our operations, most of AIESEC New Zealand's operations on one LC, that is AIESEC Auckland. And that's why, in order to do the exponential growth, entity needs to grow as a whole. And for now, with current distribution of the exchanges and for current distribution of the results. We are basing our results only on one entity or one entity, and that's why one of my pillars are to grow as the whole. Yeah, and it will probably take approximately 2 to 3 years to develop all the LCs to the level that they can participate as very big contribution towards the results. Thank you so much for this question.
Hi, Joanna. My name is Prasad from AIESEC Victoria. Hi, Joanna. My name is Prasad from AIESEC Victoria. My question to you is, how can be AIESEC accessible to anyone and everyone, and not only in chapters where we are present in, just as what you mentioned in your application? Thank you.
I think the accessibility comes together with 2 things. One of them is financial remodeling, and the fact that our services are quite expensive. We're one of the most expensive in the current market. And then second one comes together with marketing revolution, setting up DLCs, fan pages, directing the traffic throughout the website, and just making AIESEC viable. So that would be my answer for accessibility.
So, question from MCP.
Hi, Joanna, this is Juliet. My question would be, so in your application, you outlined a proposed MC structure of having 6 MCVPs. Having said that, you were never an LCP. How are you planning on managing such a big team in addition of your LCPs and the entity?
Okay, so I know I was not an LCP, but I was a part of, I was LCP twice, and LCP once and then LCP. And I was managing the biggest structure of AIESEC in Cambodia that altogether brought about 100 members. And having said that, I had my LCPs, that were 4 of them, plus team leaders. And so I have proved myself that I managed the big teams before.
I'm gonna stop typing. Just say the question.
Sorry, just say the question. Okay, this is kind of like a follow-up on the same question. But if you said you wanted to have 6 MCVPs, but given AIESEC New Zealand's current financial situations, if you could only have a similar team to what's present right now, which is 4 MCs and 1 part-time finance manager, is that it? That's what I thought it was. Like, what would you cut or what would you merge, and how would this affect your performance in 16, 17?
So I would merge objects marketing, since they come together. I would create the FTD. I would leave TM and finance as 2 separate teams, and for the MCP. And the truth is that it may affect the productivity, but with the right goals and with the right set expectations and the trackers, it is manageable without any performance and right transitions, because that's above everything. It's very much manageable, and I don't think it will affect that much of the productivity and the performance. Hello.
Hey. So you mentioned that you wanted to have a 2 to 3 year kind of growth plan for AIESEC New Zealand by essentially upgrading some of the LCs that are not Auckland. From my knowledge, like the smaller LCs have been trying to upgrade for like a number of years, and essentially your membership productivity goals are pretty much what we've tried to achieve in the past, I don't know how many years. So how will you be any different, and do you have any tangible plans?
YouTube. Make it, yeah,
Okay, so Joanne, what we're going to do is Anshul's going to ask her question, and if you can type your question while Anshul
Okay, I'm gonna ask my question while he's typing the question, because mine's very short. So I want to know, as an international MCP, what added value can you bring to AIESEC New Zealand?
Did you hear the question, Joanna? Okay. Okay.
When it comes to international MCP, so first of all, I bring international perspective since I worked in the different entities, both big and small. The second thing is, if there are any internationals in my team, and I hope there will be, I also bring bridge between locals and internationals. And the third thing is the mental level I will probably maybe we all be embarrassed in front of you. Definitely those three. Yeah. And this is the question that was the one that is typed. Is it the question that is
It's a question in the field. Mm-hmm.
It was asked before.
So the question in the chat box now is the question that you didn't hear before.
Okay.
Are you typing your answer?
No. I'm typing notes for myself.
Oh, okay.
Structure the answer, so I hit like 15 seconds more, I think.
Okay, you got 1 more minute.
Okay, so I would like to build, so because the core of my class is about the continuity, and I want to build on the legacy, because this team.
Joanna, can you hear us?
The team that has nothing.
Can you, I'm sorry, we lost you for a second there.
The second thing is, I want to
Joanna, can you repeat your answer? I'm sorry, we lost you for a minute.
Oh, okay, sorry. So, first of all, I want to build on the legacy of the team 15-16 that is going to be left. Then the second thing is I want to focus on inter-entity collaboration so that the LCs collaborate in order to have sustainable growth. And also I wanted to focus on country-to-country partnerships because as MCP IGDB, I saw because in order to grow, opportunities, like in order to send more people for the exchange, opportunities need to be open earlier than they are, especially for the New Zealanders. And I could see this happening, especially in my entity and the entities that we are partnering with for now, the AIESEC company.
Have one more question?
Got like 6 seconds left.
Okay, then that is
Very
it.
good. Awesome. So that brings us to the end of question and answer time. Thank you.
Thank you.
So
close the chat for now, and I'll get back to you once Stephen is done.
Awesome.
Awesome. See you then. Bye.
Thank you.
Can you close this? Turn this off and stuff? I just. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What happened?
Doesn't want this, right? Huh?
Do you not?
Yeah,
It's like blank. Okay, you need to screen for it too. Yeah, put it on DVD. Let me get some intro.
Right, good questions, guys. Next kick. Alright. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome your second candidate for MCP 1617, Stephen! Okay, Stephen, so you have 10 minutes for your introduction speech. I'll start the timer when you start speaking, and I'll give you a signal when we get to the halfway point.
So where's the best place to stand for?
That corner.
You push up over here. Okay, one. Stands cool. All right. Okay. If I were to ask you, what is the most important thing in this world? Some of you may say health. Some of you may say knowledge. And others may say a vision for the future. He aha te mea nui, ke tēnei ahau. Niki o te. E te tanga, e te tanga, e te tanga. What is the most important thing in this world? I would reply, it is the people, the people, the people. And if you would ask me, what's the most important thing in AIESEC? I will reply, it's the tangata, it's the tangata, it's the tangata. It is the people, it is the people, it is the people. It is our exchange participants. It is our members. It is our alumni, our stakeholders, our network. This is what makes us special. This is our core. They are our people. And it's for our people that I'm standing here today. Kia ora koutou. My name is Stephen Zurab. It's my pleasure and honour to be running for the Member Committee President of AIESEC in New Zealand for the 16-17 term. So a little bit about myself. My roots are in this very place, Wellington. I was born and raised, based in Auckland. I've travelled the country, that means I've visited South Island. Okay, perfect, all right. But all humour aside, New Zealand is a place I'm incredibly proud of. And it was this year that I really fully understood the extent of that. 7 a.m., 14th of August, I'm strapped in, I've seen the safety video, and I'm peeking out my window. For the first time in my life, other than when I was a child, or baby rather, I was leaving New Zealand. I was India bound, and had the privilege of representing AIESEC in New Zealand and AIESEC Auckland C at International Congress 2015 in India. Now this was a surreal experience, both the conference and India itself. I saw things that expanded my ideas of beauty, wonder, and excitement. But I saw other things as well. I saw the misfortune of children who had to beg. I saw the pain of those who were without limbs. And I saw the sorrow around those who slept on sides of dirty streets with nothing but rags. Now, I'm an idealist, I'm an optimist, and I'm a dreamer. But this really was tough for me to see and to experience. Because I would daydream that I'd be part of some important organization in some important role where I was fighting world issues on the front lines and behind the scenes. But just being in India for 3 weeks, seeing the extent of what I consider to be problems, seemed so large, I questioned, what can my ideas and dreams even do? But while I was in India, I found something else. I found a youth movement so strong that it did not care the size of any problem. It did not care whether people had given up and accepted those. It was determined to change whatever they felt was unfair and unjust, one step at a time. That was AIESEC 2020 in India, International Congress 2015. So I came back to New Zealand, I brought it all back with me. I put the pieces together. AIESEC had given me critical and independent thought. It had opened my mind to new ideas and different avenues. And it gave me the hard and soft skills and an extensive network of friends and colleagues that I knew I always could rely on. And then that was it. I clicked. There are problems all over the world, sure. But you know what else there is? There's AIESECers all over the world. AIESECers who know those realities, who when they finish with their time in AIESEC, or even during, they're going to go out and solve those problems. And so I knew with my experience living in New Zealand that I wanted to address the problems that exist here. I want to dedicate my time here. And so you're probably wondering why, okay, why is he telling me that he wants to help New Zealand? That's cool, but we're AIESEC, we're not New Zealand. Well, the reason why I want to tell you this is because this passion to improve, to challenge things in Aotearoa has been formed because of my time in AIESEC, because it gave me these skills. And I have learned the extent of how much we need to improve this country. And that is why I'm so hungry for this MCP position, because at my disposal, if I get this, I have the chance to empower other people to have similar experiences, to become vocal, to become engaged, and to want to do something in our society. And because New Zealand really needs the youth to stand up. But before AIESEC can even do this, we had to do some serious growing in New Zealand. And so my vision for the next term is simple. It's steady and sustainable growth, looking at 3 key things. So the first is member education. Now, a fundamental problem with our organization at the moment is our members across the board do not understand the whole extent of their roles. And this means we go in there thinking, oh yeah, we're going to achieve these things, but we don't have the building blocks to get there. By creating a membership education cycle, which has already started, we can build on it, implement it, and make sure that we address those founding blocks and push forward. Second is a complete rebrand of AIESEC. So if I would ask you now, or rather ask people on the street, they would either 1, not know about AIESEC, 2, maybe think it's a random Asian culture club, or 3, it's something to do with exchange. Where we want to go is that we want to move us to be a place, or to be known as a youth movement, to be youth leadership, youth for change. This is where we want to go. And so Y2B is going to be happening already. I want to build on that because that is going to help us move. And when I have my VP brand experience, we can work together to update the way we market so that we are relevant and aren't using 3 or 4-year-old techniques. So we are doing vines and the 10 best things, those sort of articles, so that we are modern. And the final thing is addressing our mindset. Right now in AIESEC New Zealand, we are happy with less. I want to change it to results oriented. So that each week we're looking at where we are across the country, it's transparent, and we're constantly working towards it. Results aren't hidden away, they're right in front of us. Now, if you were to ask me, why am I the best candidate? I would say the fact that I am a current LCP gives me a massive incentive in the fact that, 1, I'm going to make sure I do whatever I can in my term to support the rest of the LCPs to make sure our amazing platform is set for the next term. 2, I've come from a newbie all the way to here. So members across New Zealand have seen me and connected with me. So I'm not a foreign face. So when I'm put on that position, members across the country know that, hey, even though I'm a newbie, one day I could be there. So this helps our leadership pipeline. And lastly, I'm not in AIESEC for fun. Sure, I'm in AIESEC to learn and because it's a unique experience. But as I said earlier, I'm here in AIESEC because I want to help people and help our country as a whole. I have a bigger purpose that drives me. So for those of you here watching on the web link and those of you here, I ask you to think about the future of AIESEC New Zealand. If you want an AIESEC New Zealand that prides itself on members who strive for excellence and strive for learning, if you want an AIESEC New Zealand where curiosity continuously fuels innovation, and if you want an AIESEC New Zealand where passion doesn't just peak after a conference, no, it peaks in the field when we do our AIESEC way. If you want that, then I would ask you to vote for me. So I'll leave you with one question. E mea ahu, he aha te mea nui AIESEC. What is the most important thing in AIESEC? Thank you.
So,
Oh, it's just there. Go there.
Okay, so we'll now move into 10 minutes of question and answer time. So how's it work? I'll start the timer from the start of the first question, and I'll be taking a list of questions. Okay, so.
Okay. In your application, you mentioned that AIESEC New Zealand in 15/16 has not reached its exchange targets, has not widely implemented the process standardization it hoped, and the work they do now will benefit the next term, not the current. Why do you consider the current MC's connection between vision, strategy, and ambition a success? And how are you hoping to strengthen this connection so your term will, to a greater extent, deliver better results?
Can you repeat the last half there?
So why do you consider the current MC's connection between vision, strategy, and ambition a success? And how do you hope to strengthen this connection so your term will, to a greater extent, deliver better results?
Great. So from my discussions with Julia and the MC team, the big thing that I'd redefine the way to say success and say it was not necessarily what the MC team had aimed for. They came into this industry without any MCP, so had to form a vision very quickly. Subsequently, after spending time here, they realized they needed to replan. So because of the replanning, those three goals weren't necessarily achieved in the way that they wanted because they needed to refocus. So, and sorry, the second other half.
So what do you hope to do in your term so you'll get better results?
Okay, so yeah, and so what the agency didn't understand was that we need to start from the very beginning, which is membership education. So they started the initiative of forming membership education, which addresses standardization to a degree. How I plan to improve that is simply looking at what MC has done and utilizing that as much as possible. And I do have the benefit, if I am elected, of being in New Zealand and not being rushed into the presidency role and having the formal vision as the current MC team had to do.
Thank you for your speech, Stephen. In your application, you were asked to please describe your strategic priorities.
Yeah.
And in your speech also right now, you mentioned member education quite often as one of your strongest pillars. Having said that, in your application you also mentioned a lot of behavioral-based changes, which are not strategic priorities.
Yes.
So I'll ask you to give me 3 specific strategic priorities for your job.
Okay. Okay, so education, branding, and the last one would be sort of OGX streamlining.
So you mentioned that you would like to empower others under the role of MCP and also kind of be the face of AIESEC New Zealand can inspire newbies to see they can be like you. But why is MCP the only position? Is the MCP the only position? Because why not MCP? Why not AI? Why not LCP?
Combination of things. So, the reason why I wanted to run for MCP, I think a large degree was actually having seen Juliet come from an LCP position and then to take MCP. Though it was unexpected, to see the shift that she had from not necessarily knowing she was to when she did was significant. And it was something I really admired. And I've never been a person who's going to be held back by having to go the proper way. So I didn't think sure, if I didn't get MCP, then I'd go MC. But if this opportunity exists, if I think I have skills, which I do think I do, and if I think I have the passion and ability, then I'm going to go for that position. Because I don't want to hold myself back. Because I feel like this position could do a lot for myself, and if I can put myself into it, then I can do a lot for the agency. So that's why I chose it over anything else.
So your entire BD strategy that you mentioned, both in your speech and your application, revolves around leveraging Y2B.
Yep.
But this is the first year that it will be running, so there is a chance that it could be unsuccessful. So in the event of this, what alternative strategies would you implement to specifically leverage BD as a driver of front-end operations?
Just feel you're right, we're at the halfway mark.
All right, so in the event that sort of Y2B is click failure, so we can't salvage anything from it, then I would work with you, of course, and see what stakeholders or collaborators do we have at the moment. So I guess when we spoke earlier, we already have a few AIESEC partners in the pipeline. So what we have to do here is we'll ensure that we can connect and actually realize those. Use referrals and see if there's anyone else in their close network who would like, so this is AIESEC in particular, to follow. That's sort of one thing we can do to leverage. Other than the standard, we have to just push AIESEC across the country and grow that. On the other side of OGX, we just have to continue our relationship with the Chinese Friendship Society and look to see if there are other societies similar to the Chinese of different countries, ideally partner countries, and try to implement the same way that we form that relationship with those as well, and see if we can establish support through that.
Cool. So I have a question from Peter Chang from AIESEC Auckland. First, he wants to thank you for your presentation. But how would you rate your performance as LCP for AIESEC Auckland, and how will you be different as MCP, where the stakes are much higher?
Let's see. I would give myself sort of a 6, I would say. Yeah. So far, halfway through the term. The way that I would improve, I feel like I've already started with the current term. So it starts with being a lot more firm and aggressive with what I want to happen. It's tracking a lot more regularly and making that a priority rather than sort of assuming things are happening. Spending more time coaching and checking in on my team individually. I think those would be the 3 biggest things that I would change.
In your application, you mentioned one of your weaknesses is your inefficient working style and that you've taken steps to improve your working style. How would you describe your working style? What tangible steps have you taken to improve your working style? And what further tangible steps would you take if your working style was incompatible with delivering the results New Zealand needs as an MCP?
Okay. I would say where I am now is moved forward from when I submitted the application. So I no longer leave things right for last minute. I'll leave things to the day before. So it's a progress. It's working. Like this is a working style I've had for a long time. So it's not something you can shake in a day. or let alone a month. So this is what I've been working towards. And so what I had done is, I just use advice I've been given a lot of times I haven't used, so I literally just break up my day. So I'm not going to do work in my bedroom because I just don't work there. I'm going to do it in a new location for a certain amount of hours, and I'm going to leave. I'm going to turn off my Wi-Fi and not be distracted, turn off my phone. These are the small things that I'm trying to do because if I identify as distractions, that stop me from completing work. So I need to eliminate those and take it one step at a time. In terms of meeting the needs of the MCP successfully, difficult question. Not too sure if I can say yes because success is quite a difficult thing to define. But I like to think as long as I'm improving, that's all I need.
Also, like, what about with regards to actually managing this?
Because I switched to the last question for Prasad.
So, as you talk, yes, you talk a lot about member education cycle in your application, your speech and everything. What would that look like in concrete action steps from formulating the right to value delivery to the last member, new member that is in the organization?
Sorry, I'm gonna just repeat that last.
So, like, what would it mean in terms of formulating it and delivering it to the new member that is arriving in the LC, like to everyone that is part of the process?
Great. So this process should start this year. We can go according to plan. So the Member Education Task Force has already been started by Jordan. And so we have members working on that already, and I'm part of that. And the idea is, how it works is talking to everyone at the moment in the different roles, understanding what they do, because having spent a semester, they have a decent amount of knowledge. So understanding what they do on a day-to-day basis, getting all that basic knowledge done, putting that into sort of a database of sorts. So once we have all this knowledge, we need to go synthesize it and form sort of docs, you could say, that people can look at. So the idea is once we've streamlined these things of the team, of select people, streamline those, we have these documents, then we have to trial run it. And so we can either trial run it across the entity, which we may as well, and see how they go. So ideally this would happen this end of this term, and then during that I'll be analysing it to see how we can improve it for the next term. So it's essentially pretty much documents that you can give. That's tangible things that you can refer to and look back. So it's on paper and it's not in the air.
Just a quick follow-up. So it's more
time for follow-ups. There is one last traditional question which we reserve for the MCP lectures. I forgot to ask you, Anna, but I'll ask you later, which is students are up. How far would you go for AIESEC?
How far would you go for AIESEC? By the end of my term, I'd be conversational into Te Almighty.
Excellent. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that brings me into the question and answer time of our second candidate. Thank you so much, David. All right, so we're going to have a 10-minute break before we move into our rotations. So just to go, the first rotation will be, okay, so Auckland and Waikato, you guys are a team, and you will be first meeting with Joanna, and then Victoria and Otago, you will be meeting with Stephen. So you might want to get into your clusters now and think about the questions that you want to ask during this time frame. The second round, MC is with Joanna, and Auckland Waikato is with Stephen. Then the third round, Victoria and Otago, Joanna, then MC with Stephen. Question?
Is Johanna's here, Stephen there? Johanna will be here, obviously,
Yeah, so Joanna's here, Stephen will be next door, and if you're not okay with those, then then you're welcome to enjoy the chill out lounge. See if you can get it.
Where's the live stream looking at? Which room?
Live stream will be off.
That's what off.
Yeah, you gotta be in. Yeah. Okay, so Auckland Waikato, you're in here first. Victoria and Otago, you're with Stephen next door. You have 10 minutes, which means that we'll be starting the next round at 1:30, which is actually 8 minutes. That's right.
And you will have 30 minutes, and you and I will be going back and forth, rotating, and see make sure everything's going fine.
If we have now with questions, is that okay? If we have EB members listening to us now, is that okay? Okay.
Yeah, but we have 8 minutes now, right? So we can ask the questions and then during your, your time, questions you have.
Okay. Right.